Yes, people, what's going on? I'm AdamMcKola. I'm a little bit tipsy. It's Christmas Eve, but we have breaking news regarding Manchester United, and that is that the Ineos Sir Jim Ratcliffe purchase of 25% of the shares of Manchester United has gone through, is official, and we are going to see some big changes in terms of how the sporting side of the club is run. We're going to see a lot of changes there. Now, whether that brings mass change on the pitch and success on the pitch for Manchester United fans, something that Manchester United fans have craved for 10 years since Fergie left. We've craved for a future without the Glazers since 2005, but to be fair, but since Fergie left, the footballing side of things has absolutely fallen apart. And now, Ineos, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, his team are coming in to purchase 25%. Will that allow them to have a big enough say and a big enough impact on things as they go down? Is that a view to purchase the whole club eventually? Although legally that can't be done. And there can't be like a contractual obligation by the Glazers to sell because of the stock exchange rules and stuff like that. Hopefully the idea is to see a Glazer-free Manchester United in the future. But for now, they've sold 25% of their shares, and I think originally they had around 69%, so maybe they're down to about a 44% shareholding right now. We'll get stuck into everything. I'm going to use the Athletics article, so thank you to Laurie Whitwell for giving us that information. But yeah, we're going to get stuck into it. I'm a little bit tipsy. I've been having a few drinks. I've been with the family. I've been celebrating, and then this news broke about an hour ago. So just bear with me. We're in a bit of a celebratory mood, if I can get my words out. Yeah. And remember, I'm an optimist. This could as well, pessimistically, and I can see how some people would look at it pessimistically and go, is it going to change anything? Are they going to be able to do enough? But let's get stuck in and find out what exactly Ineos' investment means for Manchester United and the future of the club. As I said, we're using Laurie Whitwell's article, and we're going to use some of the information from Laurie Whitwell, but it's everywhere right now. It is official, and Manchester United have said so. They've said so. And the company buying the 25% stake is called Trawlers Limited. The reason Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos have called it that, it's linked. Do you remember the famous speech that Eric Cantona did when the seagulls follow the trawler? It's because they think fish will be thrown into the sea. Apparently it's named after that because of the famous Eric Cantona saying. Again, just another little bit that kind of makes you think, are they Man United fans? Do they really want what's best for the club? Because we've been sold so many lies and bullshit and everything over the last few years. Let's get stuck into this. I'm rambling on again, ain't I? 13 months on, Laurie Whitwell writes, from the Glazer family launching what they called a strategic review of Man United, a deal has been completed that sees the dynamic shift at the club. Sir Jim Ratcliffe's company Ineos has bought 25% of United to gain sporting control and are also investing $300 million into the club. So not only are they buying that 25%, they're also investing $300 million into the club. It's not the complete buyout the majority of fans had hoped for when the prospect of a full sale was mooted by the Glazers under the strategic view that became known inside the club as Project Ruby. However, the complex deal should bring fresh impetus to the football side as well as outside investment for the first time under the Glazers. And it was a full sale that all Manchester United fans had hoped for. We had longed for a full sale of the club. That hasn't happened, obviously. But we can still be optimistic in the sense that the Glazers have allowed Ed Woodward, an accountant, remember him, running the football side of things? We've allowed people that aren't football people run the club. And if Ineos come in and simply go, these guys know football, let them run the football, that's immediately an improvement on what's been going on. Because it's been a fucking disgrace what's been going on at Manchester United. It says lawyers have been internally poring over the final details for weeks to ensure the contractual rigour of a unique agreement with United's non-executive board members who must act in the interest of shareholders satisfied they can combat any legal challenges. Ratcliffe has made the offer to acquire Class A shares which are traded on the New York Stock Exchange, as well as the Glazers Class B shares which are worth 10 times the voting rights to get the deal through. As part of the deal, Sir Dave Brailsford, the former mastermind of cycling's Team Sky, and Ineos' sports CEO Jean-Claude Blanc I like to call him Jean-Claude Blancdam, will be joining the board. So those two guys immediately, they're sporting people. They come into the board, Sir Dave Brailsford and Jean-Claude Blancdam. And he says staff received an invite to a call with interim CEO Patrick Stewart, not the guy from Star Trek, in the middle of the afternoon on Christmas Eve. It had no subject title. Stewart went into his office at Old Trafford to address United staff on the call and explain the investment and the new appointees to the United Club and PLC board. Formal approval of the deal, which sees all the Glazers siblings stay at the club, will take 6 to 8 weeks in terms of the Premier League stuff. And until then, Ineos has no official control over sporting decisions, meaning Erik ten Hag's job as manager should be secure for the time being. Here is everything you need to know, the article. So what we got right now is they've brought in that Dave Brailsford. They've brought in Jean-Claude Blancdam. Now, there is a Premier League thing which they need to ratify the deal, 6 to 8 weeks. But those guys are coming in. Sir Jim Ratcliffe, Ineos are coming in. They've bought a 25%. They have Class B shares, which are the voting rights shares. And they also have some of the Class A shares, which are on the New York Stock Exchange. So let's have a look at how this is all been going down. It's not the end of the Glazer ownership, though, which is the sad thing. But the deal is exactly Ratcliffe's companies bought 25% in exchange for sporting control, which shows you exactly what the Glazers only care about the commercial side of business. And they're happy for someone else to take control of the sporting side and still reap the benefits of them potentially improving the sporting side. The Glazers are just such scumbags, man. It's shown in everything that they do. Even this, which is something that we kind of want, it shows you in that as well. The deal, which has cost around £1.3 billion, it means... What does that value the club at then? 1.3 billion times 4. Quick maths. 5.2 billion, sorry. Jesus. Was that right? Quick maths. It was right. Quick maths. Sorry, man. I've had a few whiskies and a few Guinness, you know what I mean? It means the club's football operation will now be overseen by Ineos, but the Glazer family, who have owned United since 2005, remain in overall charge. The Glazer family and Class A shareholders received a price of $33 per share. So it's not the end of the Glazers. The Glazers owned roughly 69% of the club, as I said earlier, with about 31% of shares held by non-family members, the vast majority of them by institutional investors. Ratcliffe's bid was initially directed solely at the shareholding owned by the Glazer family, but in the third round of bids he proposed a deal that would see him gain a majority of slightly more than 50%. This would allow Joel and Avram Glazer, the siblings who have taken the most interest in United, to stay on as minority shareholders. The important thing is, Ponytail Baldyface, or whatever his name is, they're not in charge anymore. They're not controlling the footballing side of things. Ineos, and what have they promised to Manchester United? When Ineos, whose secret name for the project was Project Trawler, announced its bid for United in February, its headline was an attempt to put Manchester back into Manchester United. They said we would see our role as the long-term custodians of Manchester United on behalf of the fans and the wider community. We are ambitious and highly competitive and would want to invest in Man United to make them the number one club in the world once again. We also recognise that football governance in this country is at a crossroads. We want to help lead the next chapter, deepening the culture of English football by making the club a beacon for a modern, progressive, fan-centred approach to ownership. I'll hold my breath on that one. Many fans, not just Manchester United fans, have been promised this fan-centred ownership thing many times in the past, and it's never ever come around. If they mean Sir Jim Ratcliffe's a fan and therefore it's centred around his fanhood of the club, then maybe that's right. But football fans long for a time where it's similar to the way things are run in Germany. We hear that the future of John Murtough is unclear. Seemingly, he's going to move on as well. But right now, all we do know is Sir Jim Ratcliffe has bought the club. We are seeing new people come into place in terms of the footballing positions. And hopefully, this means positive things for Manchester United in the future. But I'm not holding my breath. I'm not getting carried away. Because as we know, the Glazers are still here. And their influence could be massive. So we have to wait and see. But the official statement is out there. And it says the joint ambition is to create a world-class football operation. If this is the joint ambition, this is what I mean about the Glazers. They bring someone in to go, this is an hour. What about your ambition before, you mugs? Jim Ratcliffe says we all want to see Manchester United back where we belong, at the very top of English, European and world football. It is official. United have tweeted it and everything. As part of the transaction, Ineos has accepted a request by the board to be delegated responsibility for the management of the club's football operations. Includes the men's, women's and the academies. Look, as I've told you guys plenty of times before, I'm an eternal optimist. You know, I've been saying 21 is coming for a very long time. I always want to see managers given a bit more time. Just like with Ten Hag, I believe he deserves it. And I hope that Sir Jim Ratcliffe, being a Manchester United fan, bringing people in who know about sport, know about football, know about the club, will hopefully see us move in the right direction to a position where we're competing at the top end of the football spectrum. But I'm not going to hold my breath on that one, because Manchester United fans have been led down the garden path so many different times. So many different times. Now, it's nice to have someone where his heart may be in... And you know what? You know, the fact that the geezer would take a 25% just to get closer to owning, it kind of says maybe his heart is in the right place. And if that's the point, having someone whose heart is in the right place, but also can have the intuition, the knowledge, and everything else on the sporting side, can hopefully see us competing again. You know, you've seen, like, look at what people have done with clubs like Brighton, just from smart investments, you know, being sensible on the footballing side of thing, bringing the right players in at the right time, scouting, recruitment, etc. Why can't Manchester United do that? And even if you've got the Glazers there being the leeches that they are, and I long for the day that Manchester United are free of them, surely if someone just focuses on the football and does things the right way, United can be successful. But like I said, I won't hold my breath. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Let us know how you're feeling about this whole thing. I've rambled on for a little bit now, so I do apologise. But keep it like, comment, share, subscribe. We got the match on Boxing Day against Aston Villa. To everyone that watches this channel, thank you for tuning in. I know I'm inconsistent on my own channel. The club, Stretford Paddock, they're both flying. They both do really well. I get committed to what I'm doing there. And it means that sometimes this channel gets left to the side a little bit. But I do thank everyone that supports, watches, subscribes, etc. And next year, my New Year's resolution is to take this more seriously. I'm going to get an editor in. I'm not going to rely on myself to do all the stuff. So if you're a video editor that works remotely that could help me out with my channel, it's obviously a paid gig. Give me a shout. We'll get working together. I need to get things cracking on my end. But thank you to everyone that has been a part of the channel this year and has subscribed. Maybe things are looking up for all of us. Yeah? The Glazers, 25% of them are gone. Yeah? We can bring someone in next year to help me out with the channel. See what happens. But make sure you're subscribing. Subscribe to Stretford Paddock. Subscribe to the club. Keep it locked. I fucking love Man United, man. Hopefully we can see something good happening. But who knows? See you in a bit.